What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 6. First of all, I know I'm late, so sorry about that. And second of all, it's actually a really small sample size, but this doesn't mean that this article is small in the slightest. No. It's actually really big. So again, huge shoutouts to it's your boy Akira for providing these beautiful articles. 90 top performing decks for only the span of like 2 days, so literally nothing. But still, like I said, it's going to be absolutely huge to, look at because we're going to be covering a lot of decks. Anyways, before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe, check me out Twitch and Instagram, all the beautiful fun stuff, and now let's get right into it. Alright, I wonder what the best deck of the format is in the OCG. Well, for some reason, it's actually Tearlaments. Now, one thing that I do have to say is that even though Tearlaments kind of got a similar nerf in a way, in the TCG, it's still going to be way less good because Tearlaments don't have to worry about Kashtira in the OCG, but in the TCG, we still have to worry about that. So that's definitely a huge issue that the deck does suffer from. If you can't really utilize your graveyard, you're going to be losing every single one of your game ones going second against that deck. Anyway, so obviously the best deck is Tearlaments. 27 of them are with the Shizu cards. They also have more Shizu cards than us because they have triple Kelbeck and triple Mudora. We have one of every single Ishizu, so they can play 8, we can only play 4. And then 2 builds are also playing some Kashtira cards, so 1 Unicorn, 1 Fenrir, 1 whatever if you want to, but I guess you can get away with only playing like 1 Fenrir and 0 to 1 field spells if you really want to. But the Kashtira Tearlaments is usually always a 3 of the card, just insane. And then the Shaddoll build, really interesting. Sometimes we see builds that don't really play Shaddoll Fusion, but they still play the Hail Shaddoll, which is the Infernoid Shaddoll monster. It's really cool when it's sent to the graveyard. You can mill cards depending on the amount of different attribute monsters on the field. So it could be nice at milling like an extra 5 cards. Basically just another Kelbeck and a Guido. And you can also summon Shekinaga going second by using your Kelbeck and a Guidos from the deck. So that's actually really nasty because you're triggering a Shaddoll effect from the graveyard. And also, you're going to be milling an additional 5 cards. Maybe get, a Tearlaments so that you can fuse for a Winda. So you have, like, Shaddoll, Shekinaga, and Winda with, like, maybe a card in hand. So you can negate a monster effect, and you have Winda. It's actually really nasty. So yeah, pretty much every single build of Tearlaments really have something going for them. But whatever. Anyways, Purrely, this is the second best deck. I can't believe that this deck used to be a meme, and now it's unironically, like, top tier. Like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, they summon like a big boy Xyz with a bunch of materials, so I think it can be like, it's unaffected by like everything, and the deck can basically make a Zeus with like billions of materials, so it's actually pretty decent going second as well, and it's very consistent because just any card kind of gets you there. Alright, it comes to no surprise that Adamancipator, or rather the 60 card pile deck, is very, very good as well. We will be covering that, so don't worry about it. And yeah, this deck plays the super heavy samurai package in it, as well as the Vernalizer, some Ishizu cards, even though it's not really relevant, because it's a 60 card deck, and you might just never really see them. You don't really need them to win, but yeah, it's actually a really nasty deck, and Block Dragon being able to be milled, and then special summoned, and then search 3 cards is absolutely stupid, and the deck can easily play around Nibiru, because the super heavy samurai package is very similar to the Punk engine, as in you can easily make a synchro monster without really having to commit much, honestly. So yeah, very nasty engine. Anyways, Bestial, another really nasty deck that utilizes some super heavy samurai cards. As you can see from this build, super heavy samurai Bestial, but there's also like a brave Bestial or sprite Bestial. The world is your oyster, but I think in this build, it's not really that you're playing like Bestial cards in a sprite deck, but you're rather playing sprite cards in a Bestial deck. So it's actually different to what we've seen before, where people were actually playing Bestial as hand shops. Now people are playing Bestials as like a deck, basically. It's really hard to explain, but Bestial Dispatter, the new level 10 synchro monster, really changed everything. That card is nasty, man. It's like, it revives back a monster from the banished, and then it can negate monster effects and stuff like that. It's just insane. Anyways, Exosister, another very interesting deck. It did get some indirect support with like some new, I think they're spirit monsters. We're going to be looking at them really soon. But yeah, anyways, Kashtira, which I don't understand how it's still seeing play. Runic, alright. Adventure, Melfi Sprite, okay. Bestial Thunder Dragon, Labyrinth. This is seriously dropping down in play. This is really sad. Alright, Ishizu, Vernalizer, Naturia. Again, they could be playing Runic and Naturia, so why are they still playing that? I guess it makes sense, but whatever. Magician, Mathmech, Adignister, Tri Brigade, Adventure, Super Heavy Samurai, Junk Doppel, Branded. Okay, also not seeing a lot of play because Branded Fusion is at 1. Otherwise, this deck would be really good. Bestial Dragon Link, Ligma Invoked, Earth Machine. Alright, Flunderies. Yeah, nobody cares without the Windbear statue. It's not worth playing. Lawn Mowing, Branded Witchcrafter. very freaking spicy. Lawn Mowing, Tearlaments, Shadow. This should actually be in this section, so I don't know why it's here. Lawn Mowing, Tearlaments, Necroface. The hell? Is that a Hippo Turbo? Kashtira, Scareclaw, Kashtira, Sword Soul. Very interesting again. Wow. Well, Sword Soul not really, but whatever. And then Shirigid Lyrilusk. Alright, cool. Now for the Tearlaments build. So nothing is really spicy about the main deck. I guess here it's mentioned that he's running Xyz Encore in the side deck. Well, at least he used to, and then he cut it. Because you can't use Xyz... Well, no, it's not that, but it doesn't really do anything if your opponent just ends on Vanity's Emptiness Pass. Because you're gonna have Xyz Encore that's supposed to be good against Xyz monsters. But your opponent only has Vanity's Emptiness, so Imperm was like working out a little better for him. And if people are not really playing hand traps, then you can't really use talents to like steal your opponent's Vanity's Fiend and play, or anything like that. So Vanity's Fiend is ironically really insane against Tearlaments now. And I'd even want to say that Vanity's Fiend can actually beat like a bunch of decks right now, but you don't necessarily have to play just like Vanity's Fiend on itself. Like you can play like Fossil Dyna or whatever. I guess it could work, or like some Berry Statue monsters. The Earth Berry Statue is not too bad. You can revive back with the Vernalizer monsters, so that's actually really cool. The Dark Bear Statue can be revived back off of a Muckraker from the Underworld, which is also extremely disgusting. So yeah, but whatever. I mean, it's not something that I really want to take a lot of time on because there's nothing really interesting about Tearlaments. Now for Purrely, they do have a new kind of tech that is being played right now that is very funny, and that is a Volcanic Shell. I can't believe that this card is like unironically seeing play again. This is nuts, man. Like Scattershot was seeing play for two reasons in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! The first one was because of the Blaze Accelerator Reload. So it's a trap card that you were banishing from the grave, and then send a Scattershot from the deck to the grave to send 2 additional Scattershots and then Regeki your opponent and burn for 15. So it's actually really good. And the second reason is a very stupid reason. It's just because of time. That's it, that's all. So it's not like that Scattershot is like a good card right now, but it's like a gimmicky card for time. But Volcanic Shell is also not really a good card. All it really does is it's a level 1, and in the graveyard once per turn you can pay 500 life points to search another Volcanic Shell. That's literally all it does. But I guess it's a free discard because, you know, you're discarding this card off of your pretty much every single Purrely quick play, and then you're going to be summoning one of your Purrelys, and then this is going to search itself back, so that you always have like free fodder for next turn. I don't know. This card kind of sucks to my eyes, but whatever. I guess this guy knows what he's doing, and like most people actually, I think this is becoming like a pretty popular tech. But another thing that I was gonna say, Vanity's Fiend, if you have it on top of an Xyz monster, it doesn't actually protect you from Xyz Encore because Xyz Encore tries to resolve as much as possible, so it will still return back the Xyz monster to the extra deck. But it's actually going to be worse for the guy who has the Xyz monster because the materials will not be revived back. So yeah, that's really catastrophic. And because of that, some people are actually not really down to play Vanity's Fiend anymore. Or if they do that, then they can't really end on the big Purrely monster, which is Noir. This one right there, it's the boss monster basically for the deck. Because every single other Purrely monster is like really small and they kind of all suck ass in a way. But yeah, this deck is extremely hilarious to look at. I can't believe that it's also citing 1 Mudora and 1 Keldo, which does make sense, honestly, because you just discard them off of your Purrely quick plays, and then you have like an extra interruption on the field. So really anything that can trigger an effect when it's discarded might not be too bad. If anything, you might be able to play Danger Bigfoot, or like some other cards that can do things when they're discarded, maybe Farfa, I don't know, just some random ass ideas right there. But yeah, this is very spicy. And also D-Fisher, because I really don't think the graveyard matters, and this is another reason why this deck would have been good if in a format where people play Kashtira cards. So, you know, even if your cards get banished, you don't really lose anything at all. Main deck 1 red reboot, which is also very interesting because you can always Zeus your opponent, so even if they get that extra trap card, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be losing their board. So yeah, very interesting deck, but I don't understand much about it, so that's the issue. I know that almost every single card does the same thing. They're kind of like the runic cards, where they share a common effect of summoning a monster from the extra deck. But, you know, that's kind of all I know about them. But anyways, for the Adamancipator deck now. So it is mentioned here that the engine is very similar to the Punk engine because it allows you to make a Synchro monster very early on. You can actually make Baron without committing to your normal summon or something, or your Pendulum summon, whatever. I mean, you can still play the game as if you get Nibiru too early, And if your opponent's only hand trap is Nibiru, you better believe that you're about to win the game because it does absolutely less than nothing against this deck. But if you Ash the bike, then even if you have Call by the Grave, you can't use it because you're going to be searching the Wakoshi, and then you're not going to be able to use it because you do have a spell card in the graveyard. So playing a lot of spell cards is actually very dangerous in this deck. So therefore, I would actually be reluctant to playing Call by the Grave, if anything. And even Grass is, I mean, it's a necessary card to play because it's just too powerful. If you mill like, Block Dragon and a bunch of Earths, it's guaranteed that you're winning the game. So that I can understand. And also, oh my god, so many Shizu monsters in this build. It's nuts. What the hell? That's crazy. I was not expecting that many, but to be fair, this is the 60 card build, so it does make sense. If I was playing, the 40 card version of this in the TCG, well, first of all, I wouldn't because there's no Block Dragon, but the build would be completely different. I don't think I would be playing any Ishizu monsters whatsoever, obviously, since you can't mill, but I would also not be playing, that many amount of Tackle Crusaders and this boy right here that has the effect when it's sent to the graveyard with this and oh my god, this is nuts. But like, you can get away with playing such an aggressive version of Adamancipator when you're playing 60 cards and still also have the space for some hand traps. Triple Maxi, triple Ash. Ash is actually much better to draw than, Call by the Grave when you're trying to battle Maxi, because at least you can Ash a Maxi without turning off your super heavy samurai monsters. But like I said, you can't Call by the Grave. So yeah, still a very interesting deck, and it's also been doing well in other tournaments. And for the side deck, nothing interesting here. Triple Drool, triple Dark Ruler, triple Tasking, triple Cosmic Cyclone. It's very American, like it's a very TCG way of side decking, just a bunch of 3-ofs and that's it, that's all. Really not trying to think too much, even here, a lot of redundancy. But yeah, this is the final, no, actually it's not. This is the Bestial Superheavy Samurai deck. I'm not going to be going over it because it explains like a bunch of combos that are completely illegal in the TCG, using cards like Chaos Ruler as well as Sprite Elf, because they still have those cards, but we don't. But yeah, Cyrostine being able to summon Naturi Exterio, and it's also level 2, so you can make like Elf into like, I don't know, Gigantic, and you don't even have to like really care about Sprint. I don't even know why Sprint is here. I guess there's maybe like a specific reason for it. It just looks a little whack because, like, you don't play the Nimble package, so Foolishing a level 2 really isn't that good. Like, honestly, it doesn't do anything. But yeah, the side deck, oh my god, this is 10 billion IQ. I love it, man. Archfiend Eccentric. That is crazy because this card is not only an MST, it's an MST that doesn't make you have a spell card in your grave so that you can still use your super heavy samurai cards, but also it can help you pendulum summon. So this is like one of the smartest cards I've ever seen like someone play like ever in a deck like this, because it's not a pendulum deck, but it can still pendulum summon. This is something that we very, very rarely see. So really, really cool, addition to the side deck. And the last time actually I saw Archfiend Eccentric being played, it was with Small World, because it's kind of like a searchable out to a floodgate that you can always kind of have access to. And also when you use the skill effect, it gets sent to the extra deck, and then you can pendulum summon it, and then use the on-field effect to get rid of like whatever monster your opponent has. And it's also an out to Vanity's Fiend. So it outs like Skill Drain, Vanity's Fiend, freaking everything. Freaking fantastic card. And more Bestial monsters, because clearly there is not enough in the main deck. Jesus Christ. What is this? And then Ogre, Ghost Mourner, DD Crow, the hell? What? Dude, I mean, to be fair, all the hand traps that are... Well, most hand traps are Bestials, like triple Saronir, because you're really trying to foolish the regained or whatever so that the Branded Beast can get it back. Double Druid Worm, only one Magnamud because it's limited, otherwise that would clearly be a 3. So how many Bestials in total? 4, 6, 8, plus the 3 Lubellion, so 8, 11, 14, 17 hand traps. Oh my god, what the hell? Oh my god, this is nasty. Imagine if you're playing against Tearlaments with this deck. You're winning all of your games, but you're just losing to like Purrely maybe, because they don't really have to care too much about the graveyard, and the Bestial monsters are way less good. And there's no rank 6 monsters in this deck. That's interesting, man. I feel like TCG players would definitely play like Wallow or Beatrice. Well, maybe not Beatrice, but definitely like Wallow or... what's his face? What's the name of the card again? The Hieratic Dragon King of Atom, so that you can summon Magnamut, and then, you're detaching maybe Saronir, so that you can send the Lubellion, and then get it back. Oh, that's another card that Saronir can foolish, by the way. So another very good reason to play triple Saronir. It's a good one. But yeah, overall, very fantastic and very fun deck. This is the kind of deck that really is my cup of tea, personally. the kind of deck that I would personally play in the, in the TCG. So I'm a huge fan of this. Absolutely beautiful. And the final deck is Exosister. Oh my god, this is so badass. So there is a new card that is being splashed, very similar in a way to the Zoroa that people used to play. But this one's actually a little different because you don't have to commit that much. You only really have to play like the 2 spirit monsters. So this one I think is the Searcher and this one is the extra normal summon. I could be wrong, but it's actually really cool because what the hell? By the way, what's up with like my freaking whatever? Anyways, so it's kind of like a combo that allows you to make Magnifica without obviously like conflicting at all, and you don't really have to like commit that much more because you're going to be using your normal summon on your Exorcist or whatever, and then your extra normal summon on a spirit monster, and then you go for Caspetel, Surge the Martha, which is this one, and then you special summon the Martha, and then summon the Elise, and then you make the Michaelis, search a spell or trap card like maybe Returnia, and then you make the Magnifica with just 2 cards. So it's actually really nasty. And if all you have is the Searcher, then you normal summon the Searcher, get the extra normal summon, and then extra normal summon the normal summon, make the Caspetel that way, Surge Martha, etc. So this is already being explained here, but it's actually a really nice package to splash in your deck. But you don't want to play too many of them because if you draw too many, then they kind of start being a little bad. But again, you can like get away with only playing you need, I think, 1 card to play well. I don't know, but regardless, it's a very nice engine to splash, and it doesn't really have the same flaw as Zoroa, as in you have to commit cards in your extra deck for that, and you lose your normal summon like big time if you get stopped. And exactly as we can see here, while you may not always open Aratama, I think that's the Searcher. Yes, it is. The Sakitama is the extra normal summon one. If you draw Sakitama and any level 4 Exorcister, you still have the combo which ends on Magnifica and a trap card. So yeah, very, very nice. But yeah, the side deck, Ultimate Slayer with a bunch of cards. Of course, we're still seeing the Evil Twin monster with Trouble Sunny, which is so bait for me because I'm always drawing that card and I'm not drawing Ultimate Slayer. I'm bad at the game, what can I say? And then Solemn Judgment, a pointer of the Red Lotus. They still have 2 copies of this card. It's so stupid, man. This card's so unfair. But yeah, in conclusion, Tearlaments still the best deck, but we still have Purrely, which is very nice. Second best deck, that's ridiculous. Adamancipator, they have to ban Block Dragon, man. And then Bestial Exosister. And the other decks are like, not too bad, but they're also not great. But these top 5 best decks, they're destroying the competition. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.